Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in Game 2 in a series between ATN Socke and DarkForce here on Lost Temple. Now, a couple people wonder why I pronounce Socke's name like that. Some people tell me, like, why don't I just say Socke or Socke? His name is actually German, and I'm trying to pronounce how he actually says his name. I've been told that I pronounce his name well. I've been told that I don't pronounce his name well, but I'm trying to stick to how he actually says his name, which is Socke. So it's kind of like Idra versus is it Idra versus Idra? It is Idra, not Idra. Idra likes to be called Idra. It is not actually Idra. And now we have a rally point down over here, which is an awfully weird position for Socke to actually set up the rally point. Perhaps he's going to try to look to see if there is an overlord, come down into this direction and then come along the side over here and see if there is the overlord. He will spot that overlord in just a second. There it is. There's that overlord. And now he knows where exactly to look for his opponent. So the overlord now will most likely park itself off on that high ridge right here, being able to keep track of his opponent's front door and what it is trying to do. Now, Socke most likely going to be getting a gateway. There we go, followed by an assimilator at the 14 or 15 mark. And then going for a 16 pylon, followed by a cybernetics core once the gateway is done. And DarkForce still now sneaking out a drone, very nicely done. So what you saw there was the probe tried to come in, and the drone was hiding right here. With the overlord in this position, he was able to see when the probe was going to pass him, and then the drone made a mad rad dash straight down the ramp and grew up to be a hatchery without any blocking from that probe. So the probe comes over, sees that there is that hatchery there, and goes, darn it, there's not much I can do anymore. I'm just going to have to perhaps go to a Xel'Naga watchtower or mine more minerals. The spawning pool and the extractor has also been placed down as well. So DarkForce is going to have metabolic boosted lings. Some players say that you should not get the extractor that early just because the metabolic boosted lings don't help that much. That's true more against Terran, I think, but against Protoss you really want to have the speed boosted lings, as the speed boosted lings are able to catch up to stalkers, which is really important, and try to surround them and pick them off. Spawning pool is now completed, or wait for it, is now completed, and now we are going to be getting queens and perhaps even some zerglings in just a moment. Cybernetics core is now done. The zealot is going to position itself right here, followed by a sentry, and now chrono boosting out that zealot, and we should also get a cybernetics core chrono boosted with that warp gate research. It looks like he slipped up a little bit there as the probe now wandering around trying to see what exactly the strategy is. There's only one harvester left on gas, as the metabolic boost has already been starting its research, and now coming in we have double gas from Socke. So Socke now going into a double gas build. So this may be a lot of sentries, like I've said before, where sentries are very powerful, or he may be actually trying to go up that tech path. Only time can tell. The probe now just continuing to wander around, and we do have a zergling chasing after this probe. The probe down to 6 hit points, and it looks like it will be able to escape and continue mining, even though it only has 1 hit point left. The zergling trying to get some damage down to 5 shields, and now the zealot gives chase, and the probe able to mine more minerals. Back here, the drones are being transferred over. Queen setting up some creep tumors in order to have an early detection system on any attacking units. But we are also getting a Stargate. So that's a Stargate. This was not part of the typical build. A Stargate could mean Phoenixes or Void Rays. Both are viable options. I personally like Void Rays, especially on a map like this where you can easily put pressure on your opponent's base. 2 to 3 Void Rays, as expensive as they are, can get a lot of damage. But what do I know? Socke, the professional, going after Phoenixes instead, perhaps more for a scouting purpose. You can see that the Phoenix will only take 25 seconds to build after that 1 chrono boost, and that's going to help him out tremendously as that 1 Phoenix now makes its way out into the field, and a second Phoenix also being chrono boosted as well. So Are we going to get actually 3 Phoenixes? 3 Phoenixes chrono boosted off of a Stargate. He would be able to graviton beam up a queen and shoot it down. And that would deal a lot of damage towards the economy and the production of DarkForce. Let's see if we are going to get, yeah, waiting for a 3rd Phoenix. So it is going to be 3 Phoenixes, maybe even 4. Socke doesn't want to reveal his Phoenix tech just quite yet. He doesn't have nearly as many sentries because he is so heavily invested into Phoenixes. And now going into 4 Phoenixes. So wow, he is going to wait up into 4 Phoenixes. With that, his first Phoenix should have enough energy for 2 graviton beams or close to it by the time they start to engage. Zerglings taking down these destructible rocks. It will take a little bit of time. A probe still patrolling back and forth. Where is that 4th Phoenix? The 4th Phoenix is now out and not joining the rest of the fleet for some reason as the Phoenixes look to get a kill. Going after one drone now down, another drone now taken down, and now going to go after the Queen? Yes, going after the Queen, and the Queen now taking 30 damage an attack. The Queen now trying to come back over to try to save it, but it's not going to be able to, and now this 2nd Queen may get picked off as well. 2nd Queen now getting picked up, and now DarkForce is going to lose both Queens, and that is going to hurt, especially as he's not able to use Spawn Larva for a little bit amount of time. 2 Queens are going to be popping back out, but they're now the Overlords are going to get destroyed, putting DarkForce even further behind, now down to 52. He is going to be supply locked, and now Zerglings are coming out, so the Zerglings now trying to make a mad race into the base over here. There is some Zealots now currently being warped in, no, some sentries being warped in, and now going to be trying to fend off against any serious attack as the Phoenixes continue to deal more damage. There is a Spore Crawler over here as well, so the Spore Crawler going to prevent any additional harassment from those Phoenixes, but 4 Phoenixes completely shutting down DarkForce's early portion of the game, down to 46 over 52 food now. And now Sentries and Zealots able to hold off the attack here. More Zealots warping in. The Zerglings looking to try to see if they can deal any damage. The Sentries attacking their own assimilator for no real reason other than they could. And now the Phoenixes are going to be moving back. We have Ventral Sacks being upgraded, so the Overlords perhaps going to try to do a drop, but they do not have this movement speed upgrade at all. Robotic Spade now being trained up, as we should be getting perhaps a couple Hydralisks out. There is 1 Spore Crawler, but a lot of drones were destroyed. 37 drones, 43 drones now compared to 35 production-wise. And now the Phoenixes looking to see if there's any more units they could perhaps pick off. Very, very nice by having this 1 Spore Crawler and then a whole bunch of Overlords nearby in order to protect those Overlords there. The Phoenixes don't stand a chance, as they're unable to really do anything about a Spore Crawler. Stalkers and Zealots now being added, Groove Spine Research, and we are also getting the Ventral Sacks and the pneumatized carapaces. So yeah, pneumatized and carapaces. The Overlords are now moving faster and also are going to be able to do a drop. Is the drop going to be successful? 1 Phoenix now down over here. Unit-wise, we have 17 Zerglings and 2 Hydralisks, and that is it. That is not that many units at all. Production-wise, more Hydralisks are being trained, so those perhaps the Groove Spines will be able to help out even further, as Creep Tumors are now being laid down. No weapons upgrades at all for the Hydralisks or the Zerglings. The Evolution Chamber just down for those Spore Crawlers to try to protect against those Phoenixes that were able to do so much harassment early on. 9 Hydralisks now being trained, so continuing to add to that group there. The Phoenixes, are they just on patrol? No, just flying back and forth trying to see if they can catch any Overlords. And this is really sad for DarkForce. DarkForce has very minimal map presence. He doesn't know what's really going on across the map, trying to use Zerglings, but those Phoenixes, just being everywhere they want to be, can keep track very, very easily. 1 Phoenix now coming back over here. We do have a large group of Hydralisks that are weapon range upgraded, and now at a range of 6 compared to a range of 5. And should be able to shoot down those Phoenixes with little to no problem. Now in comes the Overlords. Overlords are on the move, and the Overlord is going to come in, and now the Phoenix is going to start dealing damage towards those Overlords. Is an Overlord actually going to pop with units? They are trying to drop down those units, and now it looks like the Hydralisks and the Zerglings are in the base, now trying to battle it out. This is a last-ditch effort, and now DarkForce knows it. Both sides battling it out. The Overlords need to start spawning creep, and there we go. There's some force fields behind them. The Overlords also absorbing damage from those units as well, but there is a Colossus, and that Colossus continuing to getting a lot of splash damage, and now Graviton beaming up some of those Hydros as well, neutralizing their attack factor, and now the Stalker is able to finish off that drop fairly easily. The Phoenixes looking to deal more damage across those overlords. Overlords instead able to hide under the cover of some Hydralisks there. Army-wise, 900 compared to 2525. DarkForce is still in trouble, especially as Socke has a superior economy as well. No weapons upgrade just quite yet. So Stalkers and Sentries are still doing, Stalkers, Sentries, and Colossus are still doing relatively little damage. It's just the sheer size of Socke's army that's really helping him out in this battle. 2 additional gateways and more Stalkers are still being warped in back over here. Back over here, the Phoenix is still wandering about as well, as the Hydralisks, Roaches, and drones are now starting to mine from the high yield mineral location. That's going to help it out tremendously. Army-wise, 3375 versus 1950 production. You can see an observer and more pylons and more gateways warping in. Stalkers should be able to warp in onto that low ground, and now that we have 3 Colossus with the extended thermal lance range, I believe Socke is going to be doing a timing or a push at some point. He does have a superior army, and at this time he does have a superior economy, so he should really try to press his advantage and make sure that his opponent is not able to continue to just macro back up and try to get back into this game. Stalker's now trying to battle it out against those Roaches. Roaches move very quickly on creep. Overseer is in the air. Guardian Shield now coming in. Force Fields preventing some of those Hydras from being able to engage. And now with Graviton Beam on the Roaches, the Stalkers can finish off the Hydralisks. And that is going to be GG'd. There you go. DarkForce losing to Socke here on Lost Temple. Yeah, Socke just pretty much had control of the match throughout the entire game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.